Our garden is finally delivering some of the best crookneck squash. So today I'm going to share with you how I make iron skillet oven fried crookneck squash. So to start, after you have gathered your squash, just make sure to wash it really well to get all that dirt and gunk off of the squash. You also want to make sure to cut both ends off because you don't want to cook those. So after you have a nice bowl of fresh washed squash, it is time to start cutting. And as you see, I like to cut them a little on the thicker side rather than paper thin. As these cook, they're going to basically shrivel up. And if you have a thicker cut on your squash, you will have a better serving of squash because it will not be disintegrated and mushy. So just continue cutting your squash into slices into a large Ziploc bag. It is important to put it in a Ziploc bag because the next step will be a little messy. Therefore, if you don't have it in a bag, it will really not render the results that we're looking for. So just continue slicing up your beautiful crookneck squash. Then when it is all cut, add in a couple tablespoons of your favorite cornmeal. This is why it is important to grab that Ziploc bag, because all you need to do is zip up the top and start shaking. And as you shake, just rotate the bag around, making sure that all of the squash is evenly coated. So you will have to shake it several times just to make sure that everything is covered really well. You can tell when the cornmeal is all gone from the bottom. And if you see that the squash is not covered enough, you can add just a little more cornmeal in there to make sure it is all going to be covered really well. But you also don't want to add too much, because if you add too much cornmeal and you begin to add it to your iron skillet, it is going to soak up all of your grease and not give you the best results. So I like to lay one in there just to make sure that the oil is hot, nice and sizzly. Then I proceed to add in the rest of the coated yellow squash. And my suggestion for this is to make sure that you're just making a nice thin layer, because if you dump everything in, it's not going to give you that nice crispy exterior, and it will just be soggy. So as you're laying your squash in, just make sure to be careful, using caution with the oil so that it does not splatter on you, and make sure to make a nice thin even layer around the bottom of the pan. Once it starts cooking, allow it to cook a couple minutes on the first side. You can slightly lift up a few to see if they're browning. And when it starts to brown, just gently start moving them, flipping them over so that both sides get browned evenly. And the best part about this is that you can actually start the cooking process on the stove eye. Then place the iron skillet into the oven and allow it to do the rest. So once you have placed it in the oven, check on it about every few minutes, making sure to stir it often. And what you're looking for is a beautiful pan of squash like this. Now I like to cook mine till it is all nice and browned on both sides and it is crispy, but you can cook yours as long as you would like. You can cook it longer if you're like me and want every piece brown, or you can cook it less to where there's only a few pieces brown. But as you can see here, it is simple to do. All you need is a cast iron skillet, some squash, and a little patience. And you will have a delicious, home-cooked Southern Appalachian meal with that beautiful iron skillet oven-fried squash that all started from these.